Welcome to episode 32.
Hey everybody, so like Michelle just said, this is episode 32.
32.
So I think, let's see, so traditionally let's start with our 32s. One of the biggest people to wear 32 was Murray Craven, played in the 80s. We also have Roman Cechmanek, who was second all-time in shutouts for the Flyers. He wasn't here very long, but posted a lot of shutouts.
Wow.
Most current to wear 32 is Felix Sandstrom. This is his Royals jersey, but he wears 32 with the Phantoms and the Flyers. And then we also have former defenseman Mark Streit, who I really like. Mark was wasn't on the best teams here, but he was a good defenseman and a good leader for the team. So that wraps up the 32s. This week I wanted to talk to you. Let's see. So Flyers news. Quick thing: they signed Nick Seeler to be the 7th defenseman.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. So Nick will be back.
I like his name.
Yes. Nick. Nick is. He's what you want in a 7th defenseman. He's cheap. He's pretty much signing for veteran minimum. He'll be here. He can play with the Phantoms for veteran experience, or he can travel with the Flyers. So let's explain to you. So 6 defensemen play every night.
6 to 7 play every night.
But suppose somebody gets hurt right before the game, or somebody's injured or something, you need somebody else to practice and play with the team.
You need the backup, yeah.
Correct, just like a backup goalie. So teams carry a 7th defenseman, especially when they're on the road, they travel, things like that. You can't just call Lehigh and get somebody out to Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. So what you don't want is a kid playing that position. So Zamula or any other prospect you have, you want them getting major time with the Phantoms until they're ready to play with the Flyers. So you need a veteran guy. Now, Seeler did okay. Beginning, I think he played. The problem was he played way too much. He shouldn't be playing for you every night. But signing Nick Seeler, there's nothing wrong with that. I know people freak out. It's a 7th defenseman. He's exactly what you want. He's got veteran experience. He's cheap. If it's some kind of long-term injury to one of the other guys, you want to call up somebody else. So, So I'm fine with that. They still need to find a 6th regular defenseman. It seems like they figured out what's wrong with Ryan Ellis, so he's fine. I'm assuming York's going to be in the lineup. Sanheim, Ristolainen, Provorov, Ellis. So they still need to find a 6th playing every night defenseman. Yeah. Maybe it's a kid, maybe it's a veteran they find. I'd still like to see him find a cheap Justin Braun type guy.
Yeah.
Braun was fine when he was playing in the role he was designed for.
Exactly.
Problem is the Flyers used him on the top line, and that's where you saw that he's just not that.
Yeah.
So they still need to find a veteran there. The most important move, I think, this offseason is going to be head coach.
Yeah.
So they're currently without a head coach because they let Mike Yeo go, which was the right choice. I'm glad they let Yeo finish the season because they didn't make a hasty decision on the coach. But this is Chuck Fletcher's biggest offseason move. This is whether Chuck Fletcher keeps a job or not. He's got to get this hire correct.
Because if not, he's got to go.
He's got to go. So candidates. Another good reason why to wait is because you see what other teams let go. For some reason, the New York Islanders let Barry Trotz go. Barry Trotz is easily one of the best coaches in the league. He's won a cup in Washington. He had a lot of success in Nashville. He took an Islanders team and took them to the conference finals. Hands down the number one choice, I would say.
Yeah.
Ton of experience, ton of instant credibility when it comes to the locker room. Also plays very defensive. Gets his players to play defensive minded. He doesn't play a defensive system so much as it's boring, but he gets the forwards to buy in defensively. He gets the defense to play better. And I'm sure Carter Hart would love him because Barry Trotz has had nothing but success with goaltenders because he gets the team to play responsibly. And it's not, like I said, it's not a boring system. It's just you got to play some two-way hockey. And individual stats, I know everybody compares everybody with individual stats, like the Islanders, star players. Stats were a little lower, but they won a lot more games. And all we care about is winning more games. And that's what the players care about. So Trotz, I think, would be a great choice. Number 2 on the list is Jimmy Montgomery. He's currently an assistant in St. Louis, which is why, again, can't hire somebody right away because not every candidate that you might want you can talk to. Because as long as they're still in the playoffs, you can't interview them. Mm-hmm. So my 2 on my list is Jim Montgomery. He's got head coaching experience. He actually sort of reminds me a lot of Craig Berube, who I didn't really want to leave here in the first place. He is tough on his players, holds them accountable, but still is able to coach in the modern era. So I know everybody likes, I'm old school. You make fun of Daddy. But I know everybody likes the old-fashioned, yell at him, Mike Keenan, kind of Iron Mike, yell at people. The times have changed. Throwing sticks around and all that. Look, it was fun. I enjoy it. I'd love to go back there, but you have to play in the modern era.
Yeah.
You're coaching 20-something millionaires. It's not like the old days where you send them back to the farm. You know, it's just
It's not that.
you need to coach in the modern era. And despite people having fantasies that they'd love it to go back, it's just not. So I think Jim Montgomery is a good coach, a tough coach, but a smart coach for the modern age. So I'm fine with that. And then I'm not as much of a fan of John Tortorello. I really wouldn't want to see him here. It's just too much. This team's fragile enough. I think they need somebody to build them up a little more. I know Torts definitely has some success with players. He certainly had success in the NHL, but just not my choice. And then fourth candidate I want to talk about, and I know people freak out when it comes to ex-Flyers.
Yeah.
But
Weird.
it's weird.
It's just weird.
I'm not eliminating a candidate just because they have something to do with the Flyers organization, just like Jim Montgomery. So, I mean, people would love to have Rod Brendamore here. He's having a ton of success with the Carolina Hurricanes. So, Bill Barber, I believe, was a coach of the year. Or at least candidate for it. I think he won it, yeah. So, I'm not ruling out an ex-Flyer just because. So, I think they should take a look at Rick Tockett. Rick Tockett. Exactly. Rick Tockett, the player, was one of my favorites, but setting that aside, Rick Tockett, the coach, has a great reputation. He may not have won anything, but by all reports, most people outside, get that he got the most out of the Coyotes organization that he could get with the talent they had. Let's face it, the Flyers aren't going to they can't throw out McDavid and Draisaitl. Like, they're not going to out-talent everybody. I know, I think there's more talent here than a lot of people. However, I know there's no elite, Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, Alexander Ovechkin. Like, that's not on the Flyers roster. Mm-hmm. So you need a coach who knows how to put everybody in the best position to win and squeeze the most out of them. And I think that's Rick Tockett. He's done it he's done it in Arizona, Phoenix. So I don't hate the candidate. Plus, he understands the market. He understands what it takes to win in Philly. So I think one of those four, it could be somebody else out of left field, but I do think one of those four would be, or three out of those four would be good candidates. So, most importantly, he's got to figure it out. It doesn't have to have it down right now. All the players are away. We don't need a coach tomorrow, but it does have to be done soon. And as far as money, coaches don't count against the cap. Flyers are worth a whole lot of money, and butts in the seats make them worth more money. So, if Barry Trotz wants $6 million, Comcast should be writing the check. I believe Dave Scott when he says money won't hold him back when it comes to a coach. I don't think they're going to cheap out on it. So, that's good news. So there's that. The other thing I would have mentioned, as far as most of the players are away, Travis Sanhunt. He is playing for Team Canada right now at the Worlds and doing very well. So it's exciting to see Sanheim keep progressing.
Yeah.
If we want, whether it's Trotz or anybody, whoever we want come in, Sanheim's going to be a big deal. I am not the world's biggest Rasmus Ristolainen fan, but I think together they do look good. Sanheim's progression is going to be huge.
I've been watching him for a while now. Yeah,
I think Sanheim's, I know some people don't see it, but I do. I think he's a very good puck mover. He's, again, modern era. He's not going to be this physical defenseman that people dream of. It's just not going to happen. But he's a good defenseman. I think he can get better at breaking up the rush coming in. I think he's very good at moving the puck out of the zone, and I think that's going to keep improving. He's an excellent skater. So Sanheim improves. Provorov, Ellis seemed to have had multiple things wrong with him. They've figured it out. Hopefully Ellis gets healthy. And then Provorov returns to normal, and you've got actually a pretty solid top four with York. So that's 5. And then you just got to figure out 6. But it's good to see Sanheim playing well for Team Canada.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much going to wrap this one up.
By the way, wait a moment.
Oh, yes.
So, going back to Rick Tockett.
Yeah.
If you go back to whatever episode it was with George Arbocas, you can go see a game-worn jersey that he wore.
Yeah, it was last year with the Phantoms.
It's really cool.
That's one of my famous episodes. Our favorite jerseys that George has, or just one of the favorite jerseys ever. It looks awesome. So yes, please go back and check that out. And don't forget, past episodes, we've got great interviews. Bill Barber, Todd Fedoruk, Riley Cote. So yeah, please don't forget to check out. Derek Sotomayor was great. I think it was episode 3 or something. So yeah, please go back and check out. It's the summertime, so we're gonna try to keep these going as much as we can. We've been doing them every week. They may space out a little, but we'll see what goes on with the Flyers and hockey in general. But thank you for watching this episode.
Make sure you like and subscribe, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool.
By the way, Adam, I say hi.
Take care, everybody.